Good morning, Twitch.tv. Good morning to YouTube as well. And, of course, good morning, Mini Motorways. Let's go to Mexico City, shall we? Knock that OBS down just a little bit. We got the light at the end of the tunnels. We get double tunnels, but only one choice of upgrade on offer. All right. Let's go with this. Get that green guy going there. Get his... I can never think of synonyms for green. I keep trying to be like his Azure friend. That's not a synonym for green at all, Goog. It's not. You go there. His Viridian friend. His Verde amigo. Although I suppose it would be his amigo verde if I was actually going to, you know, apply the rules of language properly. Speak the language in a way that's culturally respectful and using my knowledge of the actual grammar. What kind of nonsense are we talking about here? Oh, good lord. Alright. Oh, we got more green. Okay. That's actually fine. You know what? You two do that. You two do this. You come down this way, go up to there. So now you two will be responsible for this. You two up here, go down to there. You two over here, go up here. You know what I've noticed? Oh my god, this is the first roundabout we've had in like 4 days. It's amazing. You know what I've noticed? And this could just be the way my brain works. When you're looking for a job, and yes, this is once again job talk. I'll probably shut up at some point. You know how you can shut up the Goog? If you want to shut up my job talk, you can offer me a fucking job. That'll do it. Anyway, I think we're just going to leave this pink in charge of this because there's no great way to get this guy over to here right now. So, you know, I could pull this in here, stick a roundabout here maybe, but that sounds like work. That sounds an awful lot like work. Alright, you just went circular, but that's fine. You've got, yeah, you have ready-made friends. So, like, all of this is pretty much just okay. These green guys spawning out here is a little inconvenient, but, you know, we've got these two just sitting right here in case anybody decides to spawn up anywhere over here around the pink roads. But as you're looking for work, and this is, you know, I don't know how much of this is, like, this is just me not having had to look for a job in 8.5 years, basically. But, so if you're on Indeed, which has quickly become my job posting site of choice, it's like, I like the layout the most. I feel like the leads I get from Indeed are the best, although, you know, we're getting kind of annoyed with the lack of... Anyway, I like Indeed. Indeed's solid. You come down here, go over to there. You know what? We're going to do that, and then this. That's going to be good. You, meanwhile, can come down this way. Swing over to there. You go over here. That's going to be fine. You are a circle now. Not necessarily in love with that, TBH. I'm sure it's fine. Let's see. Well, we've got these three pinks. I kind of think the answer is a roundabout. Like, right here? Yeah, I kind of feel like the answer is a roundabout right here. And these greens can swoop into the roundabout thusly. And the pinks can come down here. So these three pinks go through the roundabout up to there. These two greens go through the roundabout up to here. And that might just be okay. Might just be okay. So if you're on Indeed and you're, you know, posting your resume, and guess I missed out on the past job-related talks. There was a point in the past couple of weeks where I was like, don't tell anyone you're looking for work. And now I'm at a point where it's like, okay, don't post on Facebook that you're looking for work because my manager follows me on Facebook. And don't use your company email to say you're looking for work. But other than that, because I really just can't anymore. Anyway, I've got a tunnel, so this purple guy, yeah, these purple guys look like they should be annoying being tucked up in here, but they're not actually that bad. Because of this wonderful thing we can do. Yappa-da-ba-ba-da-ba. You're off to see the purple. You aren't. You are in a bad place. Actually, hold on. Never mind. No, I can put you in a good place. We can get Eleanor Shellstrop up in this bitch. We just need to very carefully. Well, I can't build this tunnel until the tunnel kills itself, so we're gonna do this. These three purples are gonna swoop around here and have the big, long, stupid tunnel. It's gonna be fine. Observe once this purple gets out of here. So anyway, as I was saying, if you're on Indeed, which, you know, is a perfectly fine website, it does what it says it wants to do, sort of. They have these assessment tests you can take, and sometimes an employer will, like, request it as part of your application. But there are assessment tests that are just like, hey, your resume says you've done this. Why don't you take our assessment test and, you know, see how you do? And for the stuff that's actually my job, like, or the stuff that I actually have experience with, like customer service and typing and, you know, basic mathematics, that sort of thing, I do the test in like 5 to 10 minutes, and it says, you're an expert. And I'm like, great, let's tell everyone. But there are also tests that are just like, because I look at certain things, I guess. Like last night it suggested that I take a medical records terminology test. And I was like, well, I mean, if I fuck up the test, you're not going to tell anyone, so sure, why not? And I took the test, and it turns out that I'm like proficient in medical billing, even though I have never I've never actually done that. I just applied logic and used a tiny little bit of Googling, which it seems other people have done because a lot of the search terms just auto-populated. That felt unethical to just Google the entire test, but apparently you can just Google these tests. It'd be hard to use my company email to look for work since I don't have work currently. That does complicate matters. So I'm all about these job searching tips. Also, why the heck am I still getting ads even though I'm subbed thanks to Sam? I think you get a pre-roll ad no matter what. I think. Like the first time you go into a stream, you get a pre-roll no matter what. I think that's true. I believe that's true. Like the first time you watch a stream on Twitch that day, they serve you an ad no matter what. I'm not entirely sure about that. That might not be the case, but that's what I believe. Good morning, Byron. Good to see you here. We are, as always, whining about life circumstances today. Today's life circumstance is we're going to take motorway number 1 and run it down here into this blue business. And that's going to be fine, except for this guy's house. This guy's house, not going to be terribly happy with it. But, oh well. It wasn't pre-rolled. Like 2 minutes ago, I got 45 seconds. I have no idea then. I didn't hit that button. I don't know. I couldn't tell you, Jer. Sorry about that. Hope you get fewer, at least. Where was I going with this? Ah, yes, my favorite kind of wine. The life circumstance wine. Well, it's a good wine. It's a good year. It's a good vintage, I suppose you could say. You come up to here and shoop that away. Is that any better? Sure. So Indeed just has these, skill assessment tests. And yes, people could just, Google the answers. And I suppose that might actually be the test, is can you Google this thing? Goodyear is a tire company. You have a point, Fishingworth. You absolutely have a point. Good morning, by the way. You, Mr. Orange guy, I know you have this lovely diagonal, but, actually, yeah, you're just going to maintain your lovely diagonal here. However, since you've gone circular, why don't we bring you some friends? Yeah, let's try bringing you friends. Have you heard the good news about Ross Geller? Allow me to bring you friends. because, yeah, anyway. So it turns out, and this is just like a thing that I hadn't considered, but it turns out I would be a proficient project manager just because I applied logic and kind of guessed on a couple of the questions. But it was like, well, if this takes this much time and, Jimmy can get the job done in 5 weeks, but Jimmy's working on another job. Turns out it's like shit like that, which is, if you think about it, just fucking math. So, good job on being a proficient project manager, I suppose, _Goog. You, if you have a project that needs managing, should hire the _Goog. Full-time, $50,000 a year. Let's talk. In the meantime, don't hire the Goog to be your accountant. The Goog did not do well on the principles of accounting test. Also, I just referred to myself in the third person, which felt really gross. Really gross. Not a fan. Won't be doing that again. You two purples up here. We'll hop on motorway number dos. Get down this way. That'll be fine until the very moment we can no longer sustain a business with, what was I going for here? With only two cars. But hey, it'll be fine. Although, we do have these two purples right here. And again, I will say, You know what? We've got these two purples here, these purples here. Can I do like a roundabout, maybe? Can I sneak a roundabout right in here, get these purples through? I think I might have a better path to this purple business. I don't know if that's necessarily a thing that I want, but... Actually, yeah, this guy has a very long road right now. Let's make this road less long. So you come down to here, right? You come over to here. We're going to kill motorway number 2. Part of this plan involves you two guys being the primary support for this double business right here. But another part of this plan is that we're going to slip a roundabout right in here. Excellent. And these purple fucks are going to shoot into that roundabout and then up here, out here, and down this way. And once this tunnel goes away, we're just going to make life easier for these purple guys. Meanwhile, you two are going to share a road right there. So we need this motorway to go away, we need this tunnel to go away, and everything will be right with the world in just a second. Hold on, purple guy, we're getting there. We're getting you squared away. We just need to hold off on it for a second. You know what? Let's adjust our balance here, because I think Spotify might be a skosh too loud and CPU audio might be a skosh too low, because I can't really hear the game sound effects at all. So, let's do this thing. That's better. Okay, now, you up there need some help. Why don't I, over here, get you up there some help? Like so. More like the Goog news, indeed. Here. You go, no, no. Yes, we do that. We do that. Everybody go. Okay. How are we feeling here? This purple got mad for a second, but it's okay now. That's fine. Understandable, to be expected. Pink circle over here. You appear to be doing just fine. Matter of fact, you are doing so fine that I'm just going to turn this guy right here into support for you. Did I ever say that skosh is a Japanese borrower word? It's short for sakoshi, which means a little. I did not know that. I kind of assumed it was from Hebrew just because to my ear it vaguely sounds like that, and also growing up my mom stole a lot of words from Hebrew, so I figured that was one of them. But it also makes sense as a Japanese borrow word. English, one of the things that I like about English, as I've learned a little bit about languages in life, English is the language that is just like, ooh, that's a nice word. Yoink! It's in my language now. Other languages do that, of course. They even do it from English, obviously. But English is the one that is perhaps most egregious with, ooh, I like that word. Yoink! Mine! Which, I mean, when you consider imperialism, it does make a certain amount of sense that the English language would also be like, ooh, I like that. I want it. I know it's yours, but it's mine. We've got orange dudes up here. Well, we've got an orange business up here. We don't have orange dudes up here. That is the problem. The problem is that we don't have orange dudes up here. You, meanwhile, why don't you just go over there, support that? I'm sure that'll be fine. We could even, if we want to get fancy and better with our lives, we could reposition like so. Okay. Now, good morning, Nicole. Happy Friday to you as well. What are we going to do about this orange guy, I wonder? I kind of don't want to pull this purple away, or this pink rather, away from that circle, because that feels like I'm starting to underserve our circle. On the other hand, I do have like 5-6 pinks here who aren't doing like anything, so it might not be the end of the world if I was to do that. Yeah, actually, you know, it's not going to be the end of the world if I do that. So let's kill this entire road right here. And just because you're here and I have the tiles, you might as well do that. Keep that guy happy. Now, you over here need a lot of help. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take you and run you into here. The three of you, like so, are just going to go straight across like this. And I'm actually going to try... Yes, there we go. So you three are going to go support that orange, and you would think, Goog, that's kind of silly to pull all of this support away from this guy, and you're not wrong. However, we have a cluster of oranges down here and a cluster of oranges up here. So what I think we're going to do... All right, you've got a whole bunch of cars and driveways here. I can just pull, like, these two dudes. I can pull these two right here. And now these three will support this square. And that's going to be just fine. Everybody go. And hey, look over here. Now we have something for some of these pinks to do. Some of these pinks. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to draw 2 motorways. One motorway is going to go this way. And you two are going to right down into here. That's going to be fine. The other motorway is going to be right here, and y'all are going to go in there, and that will also be fine. Great. You just went circular. Problem. Not in love with it. Here, take that. You've got 4 houses of support, which isn't a ton, really. But your 4 houses are very close, so you might just be fine for a while. If it turns out you're not fine for a while, I do have this cluster of oranges here, which could somehow join these guys in supporting this. But let's not think about that right this very moment. Oh, you just went circular. Well, that's a problem. Not a fan of that. You're going to need a motorway, I think, to deal with that. Here, you go that away. That'll be okay. How versed are you in Final Fantasy games? I love me some Final Fantasy. Specifically, like, modern-ish Final Fantasy. You know, 7, 9, 10, 12. Yeah, 7, 9, 10, 12. I know a good... Oh, by the way, you're a very angry circle. How long have you been a circle, exactly? I forgot that you were a circle. Okay. But yeah, 7, 9, 10, 12, I love them to pieces. They're very, very, very good games. Other than that, I don't have a terribly large depth of knowledge. I'm, like, aware that they exist, and that's about it. Alright, so we gotta get green guys over to here, which means... what's the best way to get green guys over to here? It probably involves at least one motorway. Problem is, I don't have any motorways. If I had a motorway, I could just, like, take these green guys, motorway them right into the roundabout, and just deal with the extra traffic in the roundabout. But I don't have that motorway, so... what we're going to do instead is... I keep looking at this and hoping to have a brilliant epiphany, but I don't think I'm going to have one. Which is a problem. Jeroen's digital copy of 9 hasn't played it yet, was thinking about doing so. I would be happy to offer that advice. My first advice is play Final Fantasy IX. Final Fantasy IX is an excellent video game. That is my first piece of advice. So this green guy over here needs some dudes. Got a roundabout right here. Not necessarily a thing we have to incorporate, but worth noting. Also, got a spare roundabout. Also, got this. Well, what if you green guys come out to here and we do a traffic light right here? If we do a traffic light right here, these purples can just go against the light. Okay, so you greens go through here and then up to here. And rather than deal with a traffic light situation there, what if we stuck a roundabout right there? And then we connected these two roundabouts via this, allowing these three greens, and you know what, exclamation point, fuck it, they're three green friends. What if these 6 greens could get over to here and save this business? Wouldn't that be great? I think that would be great. What if everybody went now? Look at all of these greens. Look at all of these greens and how happy they are to be of assistance. You love to see it. Hey, you know what? While we're here complicating things, let's complicate things. Here. All of the traffic goes through the roundabout. That'll be totally fine. All of the traffic goes through the roundabout. Is there anything I could miss by not knowing stuff ahead of time? I mean, Final Fantasy IX does have a lot of stuff that, and this is something I've read, because I have not played the earlier Final Fantasies, like, 1 through 6, basically. If you have played those Final Fantasies, a lot of moments and things and, like, visual references and even just, like, basic themes of Final Fantasy IX, a lot of those themes will feel very similar. Because Final Fantasy IX was sort of positioned as a return to the more classic structure of a Final Fantasy. Whereas, 7 and 8 were they were set in a modern time, and they had, like, modern trappings like guns and technology and that sort of thing. Final Fantasy IX kind of gets back to, swords and sorcery and black magic and that sort of thing. And it's not, one is not necessarily better than the other, but there are a lot of, like, hallmarks of the Final Fantasy series in terms of references and important terms and that sort of thing that Final Fantasy IX really, really leans on. And I have been reliably told, I think Samurai Sam has told me this, that if you have played the earlier Final Fantasies, those moments in Final Fantasy IX, to borrow a term, they just hit different, basically. Now, that doesn't mean that Final Fantasy IX doesn't fucking rule if you don't know any of that shit. Because I don't know any of that shit, and Final Fantasy IX fucking rules. So, don't feel like you have to know this. This isn't like it isn't like you're picking up Final Fantasy X-2, having never played Final Fantasy X. It's not like that at all. But, if you haven't played, for instance, Final Fantasy VI, there might be a case where you would be missing out, so to speak. This orange guy right here is in an awkward position, but I think if I just do this and slap a traffic light right there, it'll basically be okay. This might look a little ugly, and actually it does look a little ugly, but it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Yeah, we just need to get these orange guys on the road. This road here is getting really, really clogged because all of a sudden 8,000 things are happening right at this choke point here. Oh, hi, blue guys. Oh, you want to do that, do ya? Do ya? Well, too bad. I guess you can do that. Here. You'll be fine. I don't really have the capacity to care about you at the moment. TBH. This green circle is mad. Well, it does make sense that that green circle would be mad. Here, let's pull a couple of green friends over to here. Yeah, you just go down that way now, please. Thank you. FF7 is a fucking great game, by the way. Yeah, it's hard to figure why this green guy's upset. It's not like this choke point exists. Yeah, this choke point right here is the reason for all of my suffering. What I need to do, basically, is get another motorway and motorway these purples over to the other side of this plaza and just disconnect this entire road. Yeah, like this entire road needs to be disconnected from this plaza, except for like a couple of green guys going in there, because for the most part, this is just extra traffic. Also, this roundabout has a little bit of trouble. You just went circular, but you've already got 5 houses on a very straight shot, so I think you're basically going to be okay. You're not going to be the thing that kills me, I think. You going circular, on the other hand, is less than ideal. I'm going to position that as suboptimal. Yeah, why don't we just call that suboptimal? Motherfucker. And it's not like I can... Because my first thought was, well, I can just tunnel these pinks into this roundabout, which, stupid idea. But also, I can't do that because this tunnel is right here. So, yeah. We're going to have to deal with that at some point. Also, these oranges up here, not sufficient. So, let's supplement them. Thusly. 2 more orange houses. There you go. All right, let's take traffic lights. That's not what I wanted, but it is what we got. Can I sneak? I mean, I could sneak you out of here, but I'd have to get through this road to get anywhere with it. So, kind of questionable utility there. On the other hand, here's a stupid thing I just realized I can do. Oh, here's a very stupid thing I just realized I can do. This is going to be bad. This is going to be bad. It's fine. This is fine. Here. Let's just run you straight up to here, into that roundabout, and then whoosh right there. That's going to be totally... Look at how stupid and bad that is. Look at how stupid and bad this roundabout is. Oh, my God. This is such a good idea. I'm so happy I did that. Everybody go. Everybody go. Oh, look, this green business is mad. Again, it is not an octo road. It is a septo road. We don't have this tentacle right here. And we probably won't, because there's no point to it. This does look like a dread sigil. With all of the various spokes and spurs and bobbles and shit. Yes, it absolutely does. Alright. You go there. You go here. Is there any way I can, like, coerce you into being... No, not really. Okay. Well, shit. Shitty shit. Shit. Okay. Well, hey, look, more green. Great. Excellent. More green. That's what we need. Look, bud, I don't know what to say other than I'm sorry. I'm so desperately sorry. All right, I've got a whole bunch of greens here who aren't really doing anything. and we really need to get, like, greens to start doing things. What if a couple of the greens go south of the double to the other entrance? My worry with that is that they would just pop through the parking lot and go back to the roundabout to get up anywhere else. Like, I can't at this point disconnect this plaza from my entire structure here. So just having green guys come down here wouldn't really do much. You know what just occurred to me? This cluster of greens up here is not actually connected to... Oh, yes, it is. Okay. It is already connected because this spur exists. Okay. Then it doesn't make any sense to do a spur here, which is what I almost did. I suppose that might make things faster, though. That might actually make things faster. Yeah, we can try it. What's the worst thing that happens? We fucking die? Okay. Here. Why don't you just do that, and we stick an awkward little traffic light right there. And are you going to be good? No, you're a bad traffic light. Okay. But you right here, you're a better traffic light. Right? Yeah. Cool. You're not like those other moms. You're a cool mom. Traffic light. Yeah, let's go with that. So you go down here. I've got this guy. This guy's not doing anything. I could, just for shiggles, pull these two out to here. Because, it's not like I don't have road tiles. Here. You two can do that. But the only thing that's really going to happen is you getting into here. So, yeah, if we get to 2,000, this is going to be a pretty darn good performance, all things considered. And by all things considered, I mean I've really googed this one up. So, green guy, come on, save yourself. Be saved. I don't know how you would be saved at this point. Yeah, no. Good morning, Samurai Sam. 1997 commuters. Oh, you need to re-download FF9. Rip. But hey, top 20%. I will take top 20%, and holy crap! Very close to 2,000, and hey, it makes me feel a little better to know that I wasn't the only one who struggled today. Sam didn't crack 1,000, Fishingworth didn't crack 500, but hey, we did really well on the daily challenge in Mexico City. FF9 has a lot of references, tributes to games earlier in the series. Yeah, they're hard. They are not at all required to play the game. They are certainly not required to play the game. But they are fun. I assume. I've heard. Let's bring in our bestest friend, Wordle. Goodest good friend in the entire world. If the browser source will cooperate with me. Come on. Get on screen. There you go. Good job, Wordle. All right, and for no particular reason, don't read too much into this or anything, given that we've been discussing Final Fantasy IX. Let's start with Knife. Knife is a terribly cromulent. There are probably better words. See, we've got. We know that there's an E in it. That's about it. We know that E is the last word, which, hey, okay. Why was my first guess after this fugue? Fugue is a terrible guess for multiple reasons. We know there's no F in the word. It could be sure, couldn't it? It sure could. It wasn't, but it could have been. Was not, but could have been. So, S something something R-E. It could be scare, right? You could have a scare. Hey! Scare is I bet there's a reasonable percentage of people who got the Wordle in one today. Because scare is like a really solid... Here's the thing. If you're trying to optimize Wordle, you've probably gotten Wordle to the point where your first word is something like much more esoteric than scare. But if you're like right in that sweet spot, if you're right in that sweet spot where you're trying to optimize Wordle, but you're not like doing research or really thinking about it. You're just, throwing in your Wheel of Fortune letters and maybe a letter that you think is neat, like C, because C is a neat little letter. I mean, scare is the kind of first word that I feel like a lot of folks would have. Like Byron Mask, his first word is soar with an E at the end of it. That's a good first word. I don't know what it means, but it's a good first word for Wordle because it's got an S and an R and 3 vowels. Scare is like soar for people who don't think that hard about Wordle. So what I'm saying is I bet a lot of people felt really smart today. Anyway, that is going to do it for us here today on Good Morning Mini Motorways. Thank y'all so much for watching. As always, I do appreciate it. I will be back on Twitch later tonight, most likely. I will probably feel like it. I do presently feel like it. So let's say we'll be back on Twitch later tonight, 5:30 Eastern for Hades. And if not, then we won't be. But stick around for that. Later today, folks, on YouTube, there will be another episode of The Outer Worlds. I think The Outer Worlds releases on Fridays. You'd think I would know that. It's my YouTube channel, after all. But stick around for that. Thank y'all so much for watching. Have a wonderful day. And I don't have the end screen ready to go. Oh, there it goes. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.